scenes and details may be intense or unsettling for certain viewers.
Welcome to the Cartel, where power, danger, and cash runs everywhere. You run the Cartel's dirt airstrip in the open plains. You are on the runway edge, miles from anything that can save you. You are here because planes must move cocaine out before dawn no matter what. You are here because the boss pays you to keep lights, fuel, and mouths shut. Tonight, your own crew is acting like prey. You pace the center line and count your improvised marker lamps. One is tilted. You kick it straight with your boot. You key your handheld radio and tell the two teenage lookouts to spread wider on their bicycles. You hear their chains rattle as they pedal off into the dark. Your gloves stink of fuel. You crouch at a drum and dig your pocket knife under the seal. You check for tampering. You check again. You do not like how easy it peels. The mechanic stands too close, clutching a wrench like it can stop a bullet. He flinches at every distant engine sound that is not yours. The pickup driver keeps the truck idling with the headlights taped down, ready to kill the engine and disappear. You sweep a red-filtered flashlight across the tree line. Nothing moves, that is the problem. The lookouts keep staring sideways, not up, like they expect something to come through the scrub, not the sky. You tap the clipboard with landing times. The schedule is tight. You do not get extra minutes. Extra minutes are what get people curious. The radio hisses. A voice breaks through, fast and thin. A plane is coming in low and hot, taking fire. You sprint to the runway threshold. Dirt bites into your lungs with every step. You grab two marker lamps and shove them into a straighter line like you can bully the night into order. The mechanic runs behind you with a fire extinguisher, fumbling the pin. Two crewmen drag a portable battery light, the thing bouncing and flashing in their hands. You wrap a cloth around your flashlight and wave it hard, low, decisive. You give the pilot a path and you pray he takes it. The plane drops out of the dark like a thrown knife. Its wheels hit dirt and throw sparks. It wobbles. It skates. You hear the engine surge like it is choking. Fresh bullet holes pock the fuselage. You see torn metal around the door. One round has punched clean through the tail. The crewmen duck as it rolls past. Your mechanic swears and finally yanks the extinguisher pin out, too late to look useful. You jam chocks under the wheels as the plane lurches to a stop. You slap the wing with your palm like you are claiming it. The cockpit glass shows a pilot with wide eyes and blood at his collar. Then the cabin door pops. A bound, bleeding man tumbles out behind him. Not cargo, not crew, a passenger you were never told about. You drag the bleeding man into the corrugated shed. The hanging bulb swings on its wire, making his shadow jump. You sit him in a chair and keep him there with your knee pressed into his thigh. The mechanic stands by the door with a flare gun, pretending it is a weapon. The damaged plane pilot slumps against a wall, clutching his side, trying not to leak on your floor. You cut the zip ties halfway, enough to hurt, not enough to free. You press your radio to the man's cheek like it is a microphone, and you demand names, routes, who sent him. He spits blood onto your boot and jerks his chin at your clipboard, your flight manifest, your tidy handwriting. He tells you the route was sold. He tells you your own people handed the flight plan to enemies so the sky would light up and the ground would pick sides. He tells you this strip is about to become the first spark of a war. You flip pages with your thumb, times, tail numbers, fuel loads, everything that can bury you. The lookout at the door raises two fingers, urgent. Headlights are approaching on the field road. Your radio clicks. A new channel opens without permission. It is your boss. He orders you to keep the runway open, no questions, and keep the passenger alive, for now. You leave the shed and walk straight to your improvised checkpoint on the field road. Barrels block the path. Your pickup sits angled, engine ready, lights dead. Headlights crawl toward you, masked with tape. A dusty SUV rolls up and stops inches from the barrels. A uniformed contact steps out, sidearm on his hip, confidence like he owns the dirt under your feet. Two escorts slide out behind him and fan wide, rifles low, a handheld spotlight already searching. You hold up a thin envelope of cash. You let him see it. You let him want it. He reaches. You pull it back. You ask why your plane almost got swatted out of the sky. You ask why someone was shooting at your corridor. He smiles and taps his holster with two fingers, slow. He demands a bigger cut. He demands the bound passenger. He demands the passenger's head, not his story. The spotlight hits your face. It flats you into a target. Your radio earpiece crackles with runway chatter you cannot answer. You nod like you are agreeing. You let your shoulders soften. You let him believe you're scared. Then you tilt your head toward your pickup. You order your driver to kill the remaining lights, and you step aside just enough to let the SUV roll forward into the trap you are about to close. Darkness swallows the road. Your pickup lunges. Metal kisses metal. The SUV is boxed against the barrels and the ditch. One escort scrambles in the dirt, trying to bring his rifle up. Your driver answers with a shotgun blast that sends him flat. You move on the contact. Fast, close. He goes for his pistol. You catch his wrist. You slam his forearm into the SUV door until his fingers open. You take the pistol. You shove him back. His spine hits steel. His breath leaves him like you punched it out. You do not argue. You do not negotiate. You shoot him at point-blank range. He folds down the side of the SUV and stops being a problem. You toss the pistol into the ditch. You strip his radio handset off his belt. You wipe your hands on your fuel-stained pants like that makes it clean. The mechanic arrives late with a jerry can, freezes, and stares at the body. The remaining escort crawls away with his hands up. You hear voices on the seized handset. Not your channel, not your people. They confirm it. A strike team is inbound to your airstrip. You haul everything back to the fuel clearing like you can outrun the clock by working harder. A metal trash barrel burns with open flame. Your headlamp beam shakes because your hands do. You rip the flight manifest off the clipboard. You tear it into strips. You feed it into the fire until the ink curls and dies. Paper trails or ropes. You cut yours. You drag a crop duster tail panel out of the shadows. Wrong paint. Wrong number, perfect lie. You order the mechanic to swap tail numbers. He scrapes and bolts like his life depends on symmetry. You smear mud over the freshest bullet holes. You press dirt into torn metal and pretend it is repair. You make the plane look like it belongs to someone else. The rival pilot sits forced in a chair, watching, bruised and bleeding, eyes tracking every decision you make. He understands you are building a deception big enough to bury everyone standing here. Fuel drums squat in rows like barrels of fate. Your radio chirps again, your boss calls. He orders you to live stream a confession from the rival pilot, under the runway lights, right now. You drag the rival pilot onto the runway centerline near the rattling generator. You crank the lamps brighter. You want the video clean. You want your boss satisfied. Two crewmen hold the rival pilot upright. Duct tape bites his wrists. His face is swollen in places you did not make, which means someone else already started this. A lookout films on a phone, arms locked, trying to be brave. The lens is too steady, too close. You shove the rival pilot under the brightest lamp. You press the phone near his mouth like you are collecting proof. You feed him the lines with your eyes and your grip. He starts the confession. Halfway through, he changes the words. Small changes. Poison changes. He tries to warn someone. He tries to point the blame up the chain. Your stomach drops. You keep your radio keyed, listening for updates while the camera eats your face, your hands, your commands. You realize the video is not just for your boss. It is for whoever comes next. At the edge of the runway, distant silhouettes shift at the tree line. The lookout whispers without looking away. Vehicles, multiple, coming fast. You end the recording with a hard motion. You decide to launch anyway. You move to the loading spot by the grass berm. Lantern light spills into the open cargo door in a thin, ugly strip. Your pickup driver drags duffel bags out like bodies. Heavy cash heavy. Payment cash that can buy a new allegiance if you deliver it to the right hands. You cram the bags into the cabin. You stack leverage on the floor and call it an exit. The damaged plane pilot shakes his head and backs away. He refuses to fly. He refuses to die in the air for you, so you take the rival pilot. You shove him into the co-pilot seat. You strap him in with movements that are almost gentle because you need him alive long enough to be useful. You order him to fly to third faction's contact point. You make it clear the cache is the message. The mechanic pumps fuel. The clear hose shows the stream. Cloudy. He catches your eye and tilts the hose so you cannot pretend you missed it. Watered fuel. Sabotage. You taste metal in your mouth. You could stop. You could drain it. You could hide. You hear engines getting closer. You gamble. You order the mechanic to keep pumping. You tell the rival pilot to go full throttle the moment the lights come up. You slam the cargo door and lock him inside your plan. You run to the takeoff end. You grab the generator switch with both hands. Your thumb feels too small for what you are about to do. Headlights begin to splash through the scrub beyond the runway. More than one vehicle. Fast, you flip the switch to full. The runway lights snap from dim to blinding white in an instant. No warm-up, no mercy. The strip becomes a stage. You sprint alongside the wing for a few steps, shouting with your whole body, pushing air that cannot be pushed. The engine coughs, it sputters like it is drowning. The plane lurches forward anyway. Dirt sprays, the wheels bounce. It gains speed on faith and bad fuel. For a heartbeat it lifts, then it drops. It slams into the berm and skids sideways. Metal shrieks, a wing shears, fuel atomizes, fire blooms hard and immediate. Through the cockpit glass, the rival pilot thrashes and screams, trapped behind heat and locked latches. Flames fill the cabin like liquid. Your crew scatters into tall grass, disappearing in the same directions they warned you not to run. Headlights flood the runway. Doors slam, gunmen spill out and raise rifles. The lights stay on, too bright, too steady. You realize the lamps are not for landing, they are for pinning you in place. You stand on the centerline under the fixed glare. Your hands lift halfway, not surrender, not fight. Your thumb is still on the radio button like habit can protect you. The burning wreck throws heat across the dirt. The rival pilot is still inside, still burning, and there's nothing you can do that would change that. The strike team leader steps forward, rifle ready, face unreadable in the light. Your lookout is on his knees nearby, zip-tied, shaking, staring at the ground like it can open. A loudspeaker mounted on a vehicle door crackles. A recorded message plays. It is your boss's voice, calm and finished. He says your name. He lists your sins like inventory. The murdered uniformed contact. The burned manifest. The swap tail number. The staged confession. The attempt to run the cache to a third faction. Each item spoken like a stamp on a death warrant. Then he gives the order to erase you. You take one step toward the edge of the runway, toward the dark you used to trust. There is no dark left. The lights eat it all. The open airstrip gives you nowhere to hide because you built it that way. The strike leader lowers his chin and signals. The first shots hit. As you fall, you understand the real trap was never the watered fuel or the kill switch. It was the part where you thought consequences could be negotiated. The loudspeaker loops your name one last time over the crackle of the burning plane, then cuts out mid-word.